The lineup for the historic Formula Juniors all getting together as they prepare to come through the last couple of corners onto a rolling start to get things underway on Sunday here at the Classic at Silverstone. Yesterday we saw a tremendous battle between these two front row starters. On the left, as we look at it, Cam Jackson, he finished second in the end. On the right was the man who won, Richard Bradley. They are both in Brabham BT2s, very rapid little mid-engine single-seaters. Which of them is going to come out on top, or will it be somebody behind? Sam Wilson and Pierre Livingston on the second row, Andrew Hibbert and Alex Ames on row 3. We're about to get the race underway. Out of club corner, they'll come up towards the line, still maintaining a good pace, trying to keep that grid together. And then, as the lights go out, we are racing. And the Formula Juniors are underway. It's a good start from Cam Jackson in the pole position car with that orange stripe. But Bradley already cutting back inside him as they come through Abbey. And Bradley's got ahead to Cam Jackson. Went into Abbey just a little bit too rapidly. We've got a yellow, so somebody's had a moment on the exit of Abbey. They've spun to the inside, but I think they're going to be able to get going again. But of the leaders, it was Richard Bradley, who certainly made the good start. But now Cam Jackson's trying to come back around the outside. It's so slippery out there. They're still learning where the grip is, where the performance is. And Cam tried it, but Richard Bradley took his line. That was fair enough, and he has got the lead.
And as they exit Aintree onto the Wellington Straight for the first time, Richard Bradley runs quite wide onto the very slippy curbing, but gets his car back into the centre of the track. He'll move over to his right now, to the outside of the circuit, to take the line for the left-hander at Brooklands. Cam Jackson not in a position to challenge, but Pierre Livingston looks like he's challenging Cam Jackson for second place. Pierre, a young driver who's been racing mainly in Formula Ford, but he's moved up to Formula Junior for this weekend and really has driven very well as they come through Luffield. Cam Jackson taking what we've called the wet line through Luffield. That's the much wider line where there's a little bit more grip. There's Pierre Livingston in the 22 Lotus in third place as they come out onto the old pit straight where we used to start the Grand Prix. Cam Jackson going for the inside. No, he decides against it now for the outside at Copse Corner. A little bit of a wobble there though.
Yeah, on the entry he had a bit of a wobble on the outside, but he's using some good parts of the track. He really is finding some grip, I think, by using those wide lines. And Richard Bradley is definitely under pressure as they head up towards Maggots and into the Beckett sequence. There's not much to choose between them. They're giving each other just enough space. Richard Bradley holds on for the moment from Cam Jackson. Both of them have pulled away a little bit from Pierre Livingston now. Alex Ames is running in 4th position. Sam Wilson is in 5th, but it's the top two Brabhams once again that are going wheel to wheel, and there's nothing to choose between them. Wonderful stuff, and Richard Bradley holds control down Hanger Straight for now.
The classic long shot up from Stowe Corner to the Hanger Straight, and out to the outside goes Cam Jackson looking for the long way around Stowe. Will he now cut back in and try and take a tight line in the downhill section into the Vale? Yes, he does. He goes tight round Stowe. Bradley runs a little bit wide, gets a little bit sideways, controls that with opposite lock. Jackson momentarily into the lead, but actually then cuts across. He got enough space to take the lead as they come into club corner through the long right-hander, and over the line it will be Jackson from Bradley from Livingston.
Interesting, because that was where Jackson through club, where he was struggling a bit yesterday, but that was beautiful. He was really quick and he's got in front and has gained an advantage quite quickly actually. So suddenly Jackson has pulled out a gap of 0.8 of a second, flies through Abbey Corner. He loves using those wide lines. He's really learnt that one. His father, Simon Jackson, a good racer in his day. I raced against him in Caterhams many years ago. We had a wonderful race at Spa, which I still remember. And Dominic Jackson, his brother, is another quick racer, isn't he? So it is a racing family, and Jackson up in front at the moment, with Bradley now having to battle for second place as Pierre Livingston's putting him under pressure.
And two different types of drivers. Richard Bradley with all that experience you told us about just a few minutes ago. Pierre Livingston really in the very early stages of his racing career, only started racing just a few years ago as they come down the Wellington Straight into Brooklands once again. Jackson taking the racing line. Bradley not feeling he needs to go defensive there because Livingston's not quite close enough. Then Sam Wilson takes over 4th place, gets past Alex Ames, turning into Brooklands. So Sam Wilson has moved up to 4th in the Cooper as they come through the right-hander at Luffield. There's Cam Jackson now, and you can see behind Bradley still under tremendous pressure from Livingston as they come through Woodcote Corner and onto the pit straight.
Yeah, Cam Jackson is delivering a wonderful drive at the moment, out in front, pulling away. The track conditions, of course, will be drying up a little bit, but he's a little skinny tyres, so they're not going to dry up the track as quickly as some of the bigger race cars that we will see out on track today. Pierre Livingston really quite aggressive through Pop's corner, but he's got a good run out of the corner, and I think Pierre might have a little bit of a chance of an attack. Yet not quite there. He drew alongside briefly, but for now Richard Bradley, yesterday's race winner, is struggling to hold on to that second place. Livingston in third. Then there's a bit of a gap back to Sam Wilson and Alex Ames, and then we go back to Andrew Hibbard, who's just that little bit farther back in another of the Lotus cars, the Lotus 22. Number 55 is a bit further back as well. Lucas Halusa, another of the Lotus 22s. We've got a whole bunch of Lotuses together pretty much as this fight for second continues. Oh, we got problems there for Nicholas Fennell and his Lotus, as we still see the battle for second continuing. Pierre Livingston's going to go around the outside into Stowe Corner.
And he's taking that wide, wet line that some of the drivers are favouring, and he gets the place. What a great move from Pierre Livingston. Goes all the way around the outside of Stowe Corner and gets into second place. And Richard Bradley has dropped 2 places now in the space of just about a lap as they come through Club Corner. Pierre going a little wide onto the curbing, but no harm done. He gets out onto the Hamilton Straight. Lovely slide there as he powers out of the tight right-hander at Club Corner. And back in the background you can see Sam Wilson also getting sideways as he comes out of Club as they turn through Abbey Curve. Here comes Sam Wilson in 4th place in the Cooper, then it's Alex Ames immediately behind him. They're coming through. That's Abbey Curve and now Farm Curve, which is probably in the dry, flat out for these cars, but nowhere near flat out in these greasy conditions.
No, it is very slippery. What's interesting is Bradley, who won yesterday, it looks like the car's kind of set up better for the dry than it is for the wet. It looks quite twitchy in the wet, whereas both Jackson and Livingston's cars look a little bit more as though they've got a bit more control of the wet. They're moving around a little bit more gently, shall we say, and it's working well for Cam Jackson, who is absolutely brilliant in all the single seaters we've seen him in recent times. There's a rather lovely shot of the number 194 car of Clive Richards. He's dropped back quite a lot. I'm not quite sure what happened to Clive, because he finished well up yesterday. He was in 6th place in the first race, so I think there must have been a bit of drama on the opening lap somewhere along the line, and it dropped him down the order. So now he's going to be trying to fight his way back. Cam Jackson is still our race lead. You're looking there at Andrew Hibbard. He is running in 6th place. There's the number 80 car we saw earlier on being pushed out of the way, the Nicholas Fennell Lotus 27, effectively a mini Lotus 25. That's one of the sort of latest of the Formula Junior cars before the category ended, and it's a very beautiful car, but sadly it's out of the race. But the marshals, as ever, doing a wonderful job of getting it out of the way and basically keeping everybody else safe. We haven't had to go to a safety car where the positioning of that car has not made it dangerous. Fastest lap for Cam Jackson as well. He's done a 2 minutes 41 to get to this point. Into the pits is the number 161 car of Andrew Beaumont. That's another of the Lotuses. I don't know what the problem was. That must be an issue. You don't see pit stops in a Formula Junior race of 20 minutes. You want to stay out there. It's very much a sprint race, and Cam is sprinting all the way. He's opened up a 3.1 second gap now over Pierre Livingston. Absolutely superb performance. And as you said, Alistair, we've seen this so much from Cam Jackson in Formula Fords, in the historics, in classic Formula Ford races. He just launches himself off. He's in quite a different element. Yesterday we did see a great battle with Richard Bradley, but in the wet it definitely seems as though Cam has the advantage.
It does certainly seem that way. His cars are always prepared absolutely immaculately, and he's an extremely talented driver as he comes up the Hamilton Straight, and we can see quite a long gap now back, as you say, over 3 seconds to the second place car as we look now.
Got some nice front engine cars battling away here.
There's actually a very good battle going on for the front engine lead, which is sort of mid-pack around 15th place, with Tim De Silva leading, and the orange car in the middle there, that is Duncan Rebaliati. Now he is Mr. Formula Junior worldwide. He is the man that coordinates all of the Formula Junior races around the world. He's done well over 620 races in that car. It's an Alexis built in Birmingham by a builder called Alex Francis and Bill Harris, and they built that car. They built quite a few Alexis, and they were quite successful in Formula Ford as well. This a front engine car, not competitive with the front of the field, but Duncan always turns out and races that.
And he's done over 600 races.
He has 629, I think, 628 yesterday, I think.
Right. Amazing. But it's lovely to see him out there and having another great run in that front engine car, as you say. And we saw also up there with John Arnold in his front-engine Elva. Very interesting types of machinery, quite different of course, but it was very much that period of motorsport where the switch was going from front engine to mid-engine. So battles going on throughout the field, but up front there's no problem for Cam Jackson, who's now opened up a 5-second advantage. Now what's happened to Pierre Livingston? I'm just looking at the timing screen, so he's got back into 4th place, so I think it must have been a little bit of a problem sometimes, because he was running strongly.
Yes, he was. Well, he got past Richard Bradley, so question over whether perhaps Pierre has had a quick spin and recovered, but got passed by Bradley again.
Well, a separate battle going on down here. The number 92 car, that's Westy Mitchell, another classic Formula 4 champion driver. He's in a rather different car, De Tomaso, so the Italian brand that made supercars for the road as well. And in fact, Formula Junior did begin in Italy. That's where it all kind of kicked off, but it was then the British manufacturers that sort of took it over.
That's right, yeah, the big names came in, Lotus and Cooper, towards the back end of Formula Junior in the early 60s, and they really dominated then, but in the early stages it was these one-off, or some cars just one was made, others just a few, 3 or 4 cars, and they appeared in races all over Europe.
So up front, Cam Jackson still has a comfortable advantage. We're looking here at the number 53 car of Sam Wilson. Wilson's having a pretty good run. He's in 5th position currently. He's won races here at Silverstone in these categories in the past, but the PT59 not quite in a position to earn a podium, I think, in this particular race. We shall see. Yesterday he just missed out. He finished in 4th place. Alex Ames did get a podium yesterday. He's currently running in 4th position. As we can see Andrew Hibbard here, he's running down in 6th place currently. A little bit of a change further back. Timothy Silva has just popped up, gained a position in his Lola Mark II, popped up into 10th.
That's the leading front engine car.
Right, okay. Yeah. So he's done well. 10th place for the leading front engine car, and that has certainly put him into a decent position, no doubt about it. As we watch the rest coming through, the track conditions are drying out a little bit, but this rather cool temperature means it's not going to dry out that quickly. We've got a bit of a breeze across the circuit. It's not blowing really strong. Sometimes you need a bit of a stronger breeze to help that drying up process. And we've got plenty more races coming up, of course, here at the Classic today, and the track hopefully will get a little bit drier. The forecast is for the clouds to start disappearing by mid to late morning, so a bit of luck, we'll get into some good dry racing. There is our race leader, Cam Jackson, dominating proceedings at the moment, an advantage of nearly 7 seconds. Oh, sorry, that isn't Cam Jackson. Yeah, so the graphic was wrong. That's number 60 we're looking at, isn't it? That's Simon, or Sid as he's known, Fraser, another Lotus 2022.
Yeah, similar colours on that car. Easy to mistake that when we put the graphics up, but the cars coming through, we're seeing there
Peter Fennicle in his Cooper. And,
there's Cam Jackson,
lapping.
we just picked him up now, just coming past Peter Fenichel, and the orange wheels on Cam Jackson's car, when you can see it from the side, make it very obvious indeed, with the red stripe down the centre, and Cam Jackson leading by just under 7 seconds. I noticed that Andrew Hibbard had lost a place to Alex Ames earlier on, but then he came close up behind, so we'll have to keep an eye on whether Andrew Hibbard can get back past Alex Ames again, as we watch Cam Jackson come down into Stowe Corner, and with just under 7 minutes to go, you can see how much the car is moving around. The track is really very slippery indeed, as there's no sign of it drying at all.
Another one to watch out is Clive Richards, who, as we said, dropped back in the early part of the race. He's now got up to 11th place, and he was very close. In fact, yes, he's already gone past Thornton, so up into 11th place. He's now behind Woodhouse. Could be able to close that gap up a little bit. He's got decent pace, but whatever happened on the opening lap did drop. Oh, we've got a car off at the side of the track as well. A little bit of damage to the back end, I'm afraid. So there was obviously an incident involving, and that's a bit of a shame. That's actually coming out of the Beckett's complex and down the Hanger Straight, isn't it? So he's lost it, probably gone over the curb on exit, spun it round, and that has flicked him out. So hopefully we'll get to see who that is in just a moment. Simon Diffie we're looking at there in the number 62 car. Simon trying to move up from 8th place. having a decent run of it so far. And a good battle in this little group that is behind it. He's actually kind of lapping some of these cars. The front engine machine going through well, and Tim De Silva, that is actually still in that group. Oh, we've got another spinner, number 26, who's had a moment. That's Roger Dexter. Oh, not a good place to be, is it? Pretty much online. He's in his 80s. He's driving the Elva DKW, and I wonder if we might get a safety car here, Alistair, because there's a couple of cars off. Let's see if we can find out which car it was. Oh, there was contact. Oh, number 63, so it wasn't on the exit of the corner. It was just a bit of a mishap. It's Stefan Bjobstel in his Lotus 22. Oh, that's a great shame. Just a mishap, it really was, between two cars that you don't want to see, but unfortunately it pitched him off with some damage.
Yeah, just a misunderstanding between the two drivers there. That's Ray Mallock we're seeing there, and we can see there the driver trying to push his own car away from that dangerous position.
Oof, that's not always a sensible thing to do when you're online, but he's being pretty brave. He's in his 80s, he's leapt out the car, he's got it out the way. Well done. So I have to say well done to Roger Dexter for getting that car out of the way. But and it has cleared the track. No sign of a safety car being issued as yet. So they obviously feel that other car that went off is in a place that is not causing problems for others. Clive Richards has gained another place now. He's got past Woodhouse. He's up back into the top 10. I don't think he's going to get back into the top 6, which is where he was yesterday. A bit too much work to do there. Cam Jackson still with the advantage. Lap times still faster pretty much from Cam than they are from Richard Bradley. Bradley in second place. That gap 5.6. So actually Bradley over the last sector has gained a bit, but it may just be because Cam is right in the middle of traffic, as you can see. He's really dealing with a lot of cars. Now, is the safety car out? We haven't seen a signal, but just wondering. No, I don't think so. He's still overtaking. He looked like he was being a bit cautious there for a moment, but I don't see any situations that mean he can't overtake. So he continues on his way, but this has allowed Bradley to get within a second and a half. So I think with the yellow flags around, areas around the track where you're not allowed to overtake, I think that has cost Cam Jackson a bit of time.
Yes, it can really work against you, because it doesn't matter whether you're a much faster car, you cannot overtake under a yellow flag. So if Cam happened to be caught behind a much slower car, he'd just have to follow it through, as we see the driver.
It's Roger Dexter
trying to get up onto the tyres. You said yesterday how difficult this is, because it's easy to fall down into the tyres, isn't it? It's not the easiest thing to extract yourself from the track up that high barrier there. As we look at Cam Jackson, it's worth mentioning Tim De Silva again. We did see him on camera, the red and white front engine car, white with a broad red stripe. That's the leading front engine car. He's now up to 6th place overall, no, sorry, 7th place overall, number 196. And over the last few laps, there's been a lot of big changes in the order. So I wonder whether there's been some incidents and that this yellow flag has affected people in different ways.
The gap between Jackson and Bradley did narrow down, but it is just beginning to open up again a little bit. For some reason, on that lap, Bradley made up a lot of time, but I'm sure it's to do with the yellow flags as much as anything, because Cam is still driving very, very quickly, and he's now beginning to pull away a tiny bit. His first sector on this particular lap, definitely quicker than Bradley, so I think he's still got the performance, he's still got the pace in the car, but I think, yeah, it just got a bit messed up by yellow flags. The gap has been brought out to nearly 2 seconds once again, but these two are way ahead of Pierre Livingston. Pierre, we didn't see what happened to him earlier. He obviously made a mistake, but he is now running in a clear 3rd place, pretty much on his own, to be honest. He's well ahead of Alex Ames. Oh, another car that has spun, and the marshals are out there pushing it out of the way, getting into a position of safety, and it looks like the number 54 car, I think, of Martin Halusa. Yeah.
Oh, that was running in 6th place, I think. No, that was his son Lucas was running in 6th. Sorry, Martin running a bit further down.
As you say, Ray Mallock done a pretty good job. He's got up into 16th position now. Those front engine cars are definitely enjoying the slippery conditions quite well, with Tim De Silva up there in 7th place in his car. So that is a good effort. Also going pretty well at this stage is the number 33 car, Chris Drake, in the Terrier T4.
Yes, Chris Drake was running very well up in the, he's 2nd in the front engine category, 12th place overall in the all silver Terrier.
We are on to the final lap now. You see the clock ticking down, top left of our screens, if you're seeing the screens, whether you're here at Silverstone in one of the grandstands looking at one of the big screens, or whether you're watching online. It's great to have your company and seeing this first race of the day. It's not quite the battle we saw yesterday between Jackson and Bradley. This time it is a reverse. Jackson has taken the advantage and has opened up a healthy lead over Richard Bradley. It did close down at one point, but he's got it back up to over 2 seconds, and he's set a new fastest lap again at a 2-minute 40.013. Bradley is in the background, coming through, passing other cars. Clive Richards has moved up again, Alistair. He's up to 8th. I wonder whether Tim Silver, first of the front engine cars in 7th, is going to come under any pressure from him. What's the gap like? Do you think he's going to be able to close up?
He may be able to, yes. I mean, Tim De Silva has done very well to get the front engine car that high up in the order, but it may be that Clive Richards is recovering after a moment earlier on, and the gap between them, just well under 2 seconds, about a second and a half, isn't it?
Yeah, so there is a chance, but we are into the closing stages now, so whether Clive Richards is going to be able to move up into 7th, we shall see. Obviously, something did happen to him on that opening lap. But Cam Jackson has put on a wonderful display. Richard Bradley's just not quite had the pace to match him in the wet. So it looks like that car is set up more for the dry. It might be running slightly stiffer suspension. That's what you tend to do to get performance in the dry, is run the car quite stiffly. So slightly higher rate coil springs perhaps. Maybe stiffer roll bars. If you run it a little softer, you get that little bit more feel with the car in the wet. And it looks like Cam Jackson's thoroughly enjoying the feel of his car. Track is beginning to dry up a little bit more. We're gradually seeing slightly faster times, but they're not rapidly coming down. So it's taking time. It's still greasy around. He's got quite a gaggle of cars to lap as he comes around, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he's got effectively 2 corners to go. He's coming into Stowe Corner, and then he's got the Vale, and then left and right at Club Corner. But look at the way he goes through. He goes all the way around the outside on that very fast wet line. We saw Pierre Livingston take a position around the outside there, coming through the Vale now into Club Corner for the last time. Yeah,
Bradley's done a good job in the middle sector here, but it's all about Cam Jackson in the opening race of the Sunday here at the Classic at Silverstone. Day 2 of racing. Cam Jackson's got his fist pumping into the air already. Jackson wins the historic Formula Junior race, and it was 1-1 in the end between him and Richard Bradley. Bradley beaten to 2nd as Cam was beaten yesterday. These two have put on a tremendous show, and they will both be on the podium. And 3rd place going to Pierre Livingston. He's done a pretty good job as well. He was 2nd at one stage. We didn't quite see what happened to Pierre that dropped him back, but Pierre Livingston has held on to 3rd.
2nd place yesterday, top step of the podium today. What a great weekend's racing.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Yeah, really, really good. I'm so relieved to have got a win. I've been trying to win this race for a long time. So with COVID and everything knocking it out last year, it's great to be back and to have this absolutely massive trophy.
Well, at least you can have a bath in it later. We'll talk to Richard quickly. Richard, there was one moment there we thought you'd closed right up. You gained about 5 seconds in one lap, but not quite enough.
Yeah, we made a bit of a gamble on the setup and left it on more towards the dry than the wet. And when we came out of the pits for the formation lap, I knew I was in trouble. But then at the start it was very difficult. But then as it dried up, we started to come back. Then obviously Cameron got the back markers, and I was just praying for a safety car at that point. But unfortunately we ran out of time. But kudos to him. It's been a great weekend. Obviously the win yesterday, I've loved every minute of it.
Pierre, it's great to see you up on the podium. What happened? Because you were in 2nd for a moment, and then we saw you tumble down the timesheets.
Yeah, I saw Bradley was holding me up a little bit because I think he was on a dry setup. So I was desperate to try and get ahead of him, and then I was pushing so hard to try and get Cameron, and just went off at Luffield. But a bit of an unfortunate weekend, but happy to be on the podium. My first time driving this car, really. So if we decide to do it again, we know we're there or thereabouts. So yeah, happy to be here.
Many more races to come. Thank you very much.